You know, you can pick up any farm magazine and numerous companies are going to present themselves as the best one. I don't know that there's any way that you can cause a feed salesman to be totally 100% honest. You've got to do an analysis on your own, and sometimes that's a trial and error thing, which is exactly what we did. We were seeing our costs significantly increasing. That caused me to do some research on what other options we might investigate to try to get our inputs more under control. And I began to investigate the Riomax program. Even my own family members questioned me pretty hard. Are you sure this is going to work? You really don't know if it's going to work until you utilize it. So, you know, you have to try it, but it's not fatal. If you try it and it doesn't work, you can sure change. And so we ventured into it on a limited basis and felt like we were seeing favorable results. I was a little concerned about the consumption because, you know, they were consuming it fairly significantly, which if you feel like you have a deficiency in your program and you do something that's supposedly going to help you, there probably is going to be an uptake period there. So, you know, the fact that Riomax actually stood behind their guarantee of consumption and actually provided us with some tubs to compensate for our overconsumption in the early stages, sent a signal to me pretty early that, you know, this is a company that I feel like, you know, I can rely on their word and they will stand behind their product. We begin to see there's definitely a contentedness in the cattle. You go to the pasture and, you know, they're laying down, you know, resting. In previous times, it seems like they'd almost run over you when you pull in the pasture. Our weaning weights certainly are increased and our hay consumption is down. That's the two easiest things for me to measure. And when you've got record cattle prices, you don't have to have a lot of increase in weights and decrease in forage for it to definitely justify it. And I can understand how a beginning farmer or rancher, you know, might struggle a bit with that. You know, once you get past the hurdle of whether it justifies the cost, by then, you know, I don't know that there's a lot of negative involved. I certainly don't hold myself out as an authority on feeds or cattle raising. There are people around that are much smarter than I am and obviously have been very successful in their own right. So, you know, I think every situation is different. All I can do is just share with them the positive experiences that we've had and also the negative experiences. In the course of the time when we began to use the product, the supplier that we were using actually changed and in discussing with him, you know, he felt like there might be an option to use a different product that would still provide us the same results. We changed to another brand that had been indicated to us would be equally as good, and I didn't see the same results. Probably where I noticed it was coming out of winter. I just didn't feel like we wintered quite as well as we had previously. Didn't think probably that the cows were quite in the same body score and just did not have the same appearance to me. You can check their manure and see some differences there as well. That's when we move back to the Riomax. One of the toughest lessons that you learn in life over the years is that the cheapest is not very rarely the best. Now, you know, granted there are some bargains out there that a guy can stumble onto, but quality will pay for itself. You've got to break it down on a per head per day cost and see how that fits in what your other costs have been and see if that's justifiable. But if you've spent 40 years trying to develop your genetics in your herd and you spent lots of dollars as well doing that, it's reasonable to make sure that you're using the best nutrition program available. You know, I've had numerous tubs out here on the ranch. I understand now that they're not all created equal.